Hey, this is Derry, and welcome to the Diamond Life Design series. And look, right from the beginning, I just want to be straight with you. I'm going to talk you through Diamond Life, the whole architecture, as you'll see behind me. I'm going to talk to you about the myths along the way, how I discovered this, how I explored into what became Diamond Life Design, accidentally in some cases too. But more importantly, let's start with where it began. Because if you don't understand my why and where this all began, then I don't think you're going to understand where we're going to go next. And some of you may resonate with this point too. But this began 15 years ago for me. A number of you who will have seen me on the stages know I talk about this story in a number of different guises. But this was really the beginning of life's architecture, or new architecture. It was 15 years ago. I was sitting on my father's hospital bed, and I was holding his hand and looking into his eyes, which was weird because he never held my hand before and he hadn't sort of said anything emotional to me in his whole lifetime. So I guess I should have known that something profound was coming. My dad had got sick really quite quickly. I'd been away in Australia. I'd just come back, so I hadn't seen quite the demise. I remember just thinking how he didn't look like my dad anymore and how he'd deteriorated so quickly. But I think we all live in hope, don't we? He had cancer. I think a number of people who'll be watching this will understand this journey in this many different guises. But anyway, he held my hand, he looked into my eyes and he said, "Son, I've been such a fool. I regret so much in life." Now, the subsequent conversations kind of mapped out what he had regretted in life. It mapped out, the stuff that he wanted to do, should have done, would have done, could have done. And for the first time, I think, ever in our relationship, we had quite a beautiful, deep conversation. My dad was a funny man. He was great, but he was not deep. And those were the last deep moments I had with him, because he was going to die 3 days later. But those moments changed me forever, because I saw a man who I thought had it all. My dad, he lived in the home that he loved, in the village that he loved. He had accumulated money enough. He wasn't a wealthy man, but he'd accumulated enough. He was just retired, so he'd finally got to pension age. And he could finally do those things that he was planning on doing. Watch that trap, by the way. And yet, he loved my mum. He had a beautiful relationship with my mum. I had a good relationship with him and my sister and my past brother. And my dad kind of had it all. He was a sportsman. He'd run a business, but he'd quit in business. And some of those stories I will go through deeper in this series. But yet, despite the appearance of it, my dad died with a lot of regret and died with a lot of his dreams intact. Now that's where everything changed for me. And I saw there was no way I was going out that way. Now at this point in my life, I was doing pretty well in the corporate world. I was rising through the ranks pretty rapidly. I'd become management consultant at this point, and I was doing pretty well actually. For myself, I'd been quite focused on rugby, so I was sporting. I was healthy. Subsequently I recognised I wasn't that healthy, but I was very fit and strong. But I had realised I'd focused on a couple of areas of life to good success, but I hadn't applied across all areas of life. And that's where it began for me. By the way, I didn't have the answers at that point in my life. I really didn't. But I began on the mission. I knew that I wasn't going to go out with like my dad. That's where my whole mantra of live a life of no regrets came from. For those who haven't seen the series on that, please go back to the website, derry.live. You'll find it there, or on the YouTube channels, or I think it's in Facebook. So, we've got the regret series, and I'll go deeply through the regrets, and we've done a whole study on that now. But that's where the architecture began. I recognised in order to have a life of no regrets, it wasn't going to be an accident. I recognised I had work to do. I needed to design things. What did I actually want anyway? And this is where Diamond Life began. It wasn't called Diamond Life back then, by the way. It was just Derry, get his shit together and live a life of no regret. And it architected elegantly into the design over 15 years. And I'm going to talk you through that journey and what I learned along the way. But I just wanted to open up with this so you understand where it began for me, and also where it's going to begin for you. So why do you want to architect a life? Why would you like to design a life? What does no regrets mean to you? Go and check that series out, right? And now then let's go to work. And I'm literally going to uncouple this piece by piece. I'm going to show you every aspect of the diamond and why I chose for it to put there, how I architected this and changed this and morphed this over a 15-year period. So come and join me in the next part of the series. In the next piece, I'll take you through the framework and I'm going to show you piece by piece why it's important.